It's market day. It's looking a little bit like Silent Hill out here, honestly. I'm gonna turn the camera around just to show you guys. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Claire. I'm a Michigan-based crochet artist, and I make stuff and then post on YouTube videos about how well they sell. So I had another market this past weekend. It was September 20th and 21st in Goodrich, Michigan, at a little coffee shop called Shadrach, Meshach, and a Bean to Go. And the fact that I'm telling you where it was and when it was should be a good indicator that this one was a pretty decent market. So before I go into all of my sales and how well I did and all of that, I just want to put a shout out here that anyone who's watched the previous market recaps that I've done where I have complained about market organizers, I just want to put it out there that these two organizers for this show are hands down the best market coordinators, organizers, anything that I have worked with thus far. This was my fifth market, and when I tell you that these two coordinators were 15 out of 10, chef's kiss, I mean that, because I am a pretty critical person and I don't mind being critical of people who frankly should be criticized if you're going to run an event and it goes really, really badly. This one, I have nothing but good things to say about the organizers themselves and about this event, frankly. So let's get into the breakdown. So this event ran from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday and on Saturday. So in September, I just want to preface this by saying everybody's gone back to school. People aren't taking vacation days. So Friday shows during the school year, not the greatest. I understand that, and I'm going into this event understanding that. So I wrote down what I sold, when it sold, how much I sold it for, and whether that item was a cash purchase or a card purchase, just to kind of help keep things a little bit straight. So that's everything for Friday. Just that. So I'm kind of standing off to one side of the camera here because I want to be able to put photos on this side of the camera. That way you guys can see what the things are that I made and, you know, kind of follow along that way. I've gotten some requests to do that. Now, I may not have a photo for everything, but I am going to try my best. So, Friday, we got there, I think I got there at 8:45. That's the time I was told to be there to set up. And what they told us to do was to get there, unload everything into our spot, and then move our cars to a completely separate business offsite because they don't have a whole lot of parking since it's a coffee shop. We were out on the yard in front of the coffee shop, and they've got the most beautiful green space. It's a gorgeous hill, and it makes total sense to set up a craft show there. But parking's pretty limited. So they had us go maybe a quarter mile down the road, and they had worked it out with one of the like tool stores, like an Ace Hardware kind of thing, so that we could park there. And they had a couple of big parking lots. They said, let us know when you are going to head out there to park your car, and then one of us will go out there, follow you, and come pick you up and bring you back. So I let them know that. I had my car parked and was back to my spot in less than 5 minutes. Like, it was fantastic. Everybody was set up. Craft show starts at 10 a.m. And we sit. They had me set up next to another crochet artist. There were 30 vendors on Friday. But the other crochet artist only did crochet flowers, which I don't do. So the only thing that we had the same of was crochet pumpkins, but ours looked completely different. I don't think we had any competition with each other, and we ended up becoming friends. We followed each other on social media. It was great. I don't have a problem with that. And the coordinators even checked in with me to check, and they're like, hey, we didn't realize that we sat you right next to another crocheter. Like, are you okay with that? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, if it was another plushie crocheter, I might have a problem, but it's fine. So on Friday, my first sale was at 11:06 a.m. and it was one of my small crocheted pumpkins. Now I make mine with the Cute Creations or Cameron's Cute Creations. It's her wool pumpkin. It's her small version, and that was a cash transaction for $12. My next sale was at 12:13 p.m. and it was one chicken. I used the Oak and Marlowe pattern, which I should have a photo of it. And those are $12, and that was also cash. I then sold a mini whale, which I market them kind of like stress balls. And I've had these whales. I made 29 of them before my first ever market, and I haven't sold a single one until this show. So that was at 12:40. I sold one whale for $6. And then at 1:18, I sold another whale for $6. Both of those were cash transactions. And then at 1:31, I sold two mini whales for $12, and that was also cash. 1:38, I finally sold my hermit crab. I don't know if I have a photo of this, but if I do, I'll put it here. If not, I'll try to grab like a screen grab from one of the videos of my market setup, and maybe you'll be able to see it. That was $35, and that was my only card transaction for the day. And then right as we started packing up at 3:00 p.m. on the dot, I sold a turtle. I don't remember the name of the pattern creator for this, so I'm going to put that just like down here. But I started markets with, I think, 8 of those turtles, and I brought 4 of them to this market. So that was a cash transaction for $20, and that was it for the day. So Friday, I made $103 total. Okay, so then the clip that's at the beginning of this video about it being market day was actually Saturday morning. But I drove from my house to Goodrich, which is about an hour. I think it was like 58 minutes. It might have been a little bit more. Um, I drove the whole way in dense fog through construction. Like I was really nervous driving, but I had to go back early so that I could set all of my plushies back out. Because I'm always worried about like moisture getting to them. This show did have security, so I could have left everything there if I wanted to, but I just took all my plushies, put them in a bin, and put them in my car just to protect them. So I got back at like 8:45 a.m. Heavy fog. We go to get set up. My tent is soaking wet. So the waterproofer that I put on it clearly did not actually do anything. My tablecloths were a little bit damp. They were okay, but I ended up having to go through, and thank God I brought a bunch of paper towels with me because I did have to go through and dry off a lot of my displays so that I could set plushies back on them. Whatever, not a big deal. That's on me. Saturday, we were set up at 10 a.m. I had a lot of people coming through my booth at like 9:30, so I'm glad that I was there and set up early because I was ready to go at like 9:30, 9:35. My first actual sale though wasn't until 10:36 a.m. and that was a chicken, and that was on a card, so that was through Square for $12. My next sale was at 10:54 a.m., which was a chicken and a chunky cat. And that was $32, and that was cash. 10:58 a.m., I sold a ghost, which I don't think I have a photo of, but I might have a screen grab from a video that I made, so I'll put that here. That was $10, and that was card. And then at 10:59 a.m., I sold another ghost, and that was also card. At 11:19 a.m., I sold a mushroom boy. I think it was the only one I sold for this whole weekend, too. That was $10, and that was cash. Then I sold my squid, which is freehand, and I know that I've got photos because I had photos on my Instagram of this one. That was $12, and that was card. At 11:29 a.m., I sold another mini whale for $6, cash. 11:32 a.m., I sold my long-legged octo, and that one was also $12, and that was cash. At 11:36 a.m., I sold a chunky cat for $20 cash. At 11:41 a.m., I sold my large pumpkin, which I don't think I got any photos of, but if I do, I'll put them here. That was $20 cash. At 12:09 p.m., I sold another ghost for $10 cash. On the back side of this page, at 12:16 p.m., I sold another turtle for $20 cash. At 12:21 p.m., I sold one of my octos and one of my mini whales, and that was $16. It was 10 and 6, and that was on card. And then at 12:40, I sold another mini whale and a leggy frog. That was the first leggy frog I've sold. They've come to like 4 markets with me. And that was $16 cash. 12:45, I sold 2 leggy frogs, and that was $20 cash. At 12:50, I sold 3 ghosts, and it was my last 3. And they are $10 a piece, so that was $30 on a card. At 1:12, I sold 1 leggy frog, 1 octo, and 1 chicken for $32 cash. At 1:21, I sold a strawberry keychain, which I know I've got photos of, and that was $8 cash. At 2:15, I sold another chunky cat for $20 cash. And then at 2:53, so right before the market ended, I sold 2 more chunky cats. And so that was $40, and that was on a card. So total sales for Saturday was $356 for a 10 to 3 show. I'll take that. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer because now I think I'm done with all of the photos and videos that I need to put in here. So I'm just going to get up close and personal with you guys. So, takeaways from this market. Number 1, I love this market. I love this market. I love this market. I will 100% do this market again. There was one other plushie artist. She only came on Saturday, and her and I make completely different things. So I don't have to worry at all about competition there. She does mostly like loveys and like little fish in aquariums, and I don't do any of that. So we had no competition with each other. They moved us far enough apart that it wasn't an issue. I think Saturday there were 35 total vendors. So 2 plushie vendors in 35, it's okay. You know, would I have preferred to be the only one? Sure, I always prefer to be the only one. But I also understand that there are plenty of plushie people out there. And also that the person that was there selling plushies on Saturday did the June show with this coffee shop, which I didn't know about. So she had priority anyway. I was the second person let in. Totally fine. I am marking this as the best market I've done so far. 90% of that has nothing to do with my sales. It has to do with the actual market, how I felt it went, how the coordinators were. So I am going to move off to the side because I have a little bit of a funny video just to add in right here. But on Friday, about, I don't know, noon, my chair snapped. I was sitting on my chair, and then I was sitting on the ground in my chair. So that's here. The last show that I did, my husband's chair snapped. Or maybe it was the last show that I did. So we are 2 for 2 on broken chairs. As soon as that happened, the market coordinators went and found me a chair and brought a chair to my booth. Because the show was at a coffee shop too, they gave all of the vendors a free coffee of the day every morning. But for those of us like me who just have one person running their booth, the coordinators just asked us how we wanted our coffee, and they went and stood in line and got our coffees for us and brought them to our booth, which, like, that is above and beyond what any coordinator needs to do. That defies expectations, and I love it. The 2 coordinators for this show, I think they're related to the owners of the coffee shop, but they worked so hard to make sure that this show was a success. They marketed for it. They shared about it all the time. Every time a vendor posted that they were going to be there, they had the coffee shop sharing. They had news people there. Like, it was a great great marketing effort on their part. Friday was slow. 10 to 3 on a Friday. Everybody's at work, kids are in school. I get that. My booth fee was $75, and I spent about $30 on gas overall for the show. So my first day pretty much got eaten up in that. But that meant everything I made on Saturday ended up being essentially a profit. Obviously, I have to take yarn out of that, but I don't weigh my yarn. I've said that in previous videos. That's not how I run it for my taxes, so I'm not really worried about that. And I did not have to take time off of work for that show since I went into work that night, so I don't really have to worry about recouping my costs there. So overall, this show was like a win, a win, a win. I love it. About once an hour, the market coordinators would stop by everybody's booth, just checking in. Hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? Do you need to run to the bathroom? One of us can, hold your spot at your booth, make sure that, everything's going good. They were great. I have nothing but positive things to say. And I did let them know that I was making a YouTube video about this, and I let them know that I would be naming the coffee shop in it and that it would be all positive, just so that they knew and they were okay with it. I mean, who wouldn't be? But overall, would I do this market again? 15 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10. Yes, I would. I loved everything about this market. I made really good friends with my vendors that were next to me. The coordinators were awesome. It just felt like such a smooth and good experience. And I would recommend that show for anybody. We also, by the way, just as an aside, we had a huge variety of vendors. Like, we had one 3D printed vendor, we had a couple of food vendors, we had someone who made sourdough bagels, and they brought out like a big rotary toaster and they did a bagel bar. So you could get a fresh toasted sourdough bagel with your choice of 2 toppings on it, and they ended up selling out at the show. And I got one of their bagels. It was delicious. We also had a blacksmith on site, which I've never seen at a show before. So he was making like custom stuff. He brought out, fire, and he was working on stuff at the show. And for somebody in rural Michigan, that's a really cool thing to see. So it is starting to get dark at my house, and I am keeping the tradition of filming on a porch outside. But I should probably wrap this up before it gets dark. So overall, the greatest market. I wish that Friday had been a little bit busier, and I guess the only critique that I would make, so I lied, I do have one critique, is that on Friday, they should either have the market go until like 5 or 6, or do it as a night market and do like a 3 to 8 or 3 to 9 market. I think that would be really cool. Did you guys just see that? My curtain moved. I hope it was the cat. Oh, it was the cat. There he is. My house was built in 1880. There's a ghost. You never throw that idea out, He inhabits my windows a lot. It's kind of scary. Yeah. Would 100% do this market again. And like I said, I already talked to the vendors and let them know I want to do both of their markets next year. This was the first year they've done markets. So, again, it's great. And if you want to see the criticism that I have for other market coordinators, the 3-day show that I did back in July, I did a video for, and I was really critical. And I stand by that. I was a lot less critical of my August show because it was an established show with a new coordinator, and it was a big show. And I was less critical. There were still things wrong, and I don't think it's a problem to bring those to light. But I'm also very much okay with highlighting the people that do a good job, and I want to shout them out. And yeah, I mean, overall, I can't wait for next year for this market, and I'm doing both of them and any more that they ever do. I also think, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm in a small city in Michigan, but I have primarily done shows that are further north in Michigan in very rural areas. And I think part of the reason why my stuff wasn't really doing well at those shows has a lot to do with the amount of extra spending money that people have, and that smaller towns are a lot less affluent. That being said, I am not dogging anybody. I have lived on the edge of the poverty line most of my life. You know, my taxes last year, I think I made like $19,000. It's just kind of the way it is. But I think once you get into some of the nicer towns in Michigan where people do have better paying jobs and people know that the cost of living is more, I do kind of wonder if that plays a little bit of a factor, because there were a ton of people at my August show. A lot of people looking, not a lot buying. At this show, I had a much higher percentage of people that stopped at my booth actually buy something at my booth. Just a thought, just an observation. Let me know in the comments if you think that that's valid, or if I'm out of my gourd and if that was rude on my part. Yeah, it's just an observation. I'm an honest person and I'm gonna call it how I see it. But yeah, I mean, if you've seen my other market recap videos, which if you have not, go watch them, and then comment on this one and let me know what you think. As far as shows go, I only made $6 more at this show than I did at my August show. But my August show was a lot longer hours, and it was a lot more stressful. I had a lot more competition, and the coordinator dropped the ball on a couple of things. So even though the money on this one was not as good as I wanted, I think the last video I posted, I said I wanted to make like 600, so like 300 both days. Even though I did not make what I was hoping to make for this show, I think that this show was 10 out of 10 a win. And a lot of that just came down to personal experience. But if you made it this far, I just want to let you know that my next market is October 12th, and it is a very small show. It's indoors, which I haven't done an indoor show before. I do have to supply my own tables, and there's no electric. I had to pay extra for that, and I'm not going to do that. Way smaller show, so I have to combine all of my stuff onto one table instead of two, because I only have, I think, a 5x8 spot. Or an 8, yeah, I think it's 8 feet across and then 5 feet deep. So I pretty much have room for like one 6-foot table and then maybe something kind of off to the side, but not a lot of space. That one is in Midland, which is a lot closer to my house. So I think it's like a 30-minute drive, give or take. It might be a little further or a little shorter, but I am unsure about how that show's gonna go, so I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But yeah, so I have like 2.5 weeks until my next market, and I am going to not be prepping a ton since I have such a smaller space. I will be making more chunky cats and cows and bunnies maybe, and I'm gonna make more ghosts since I sold out. And that's about it. So the next couple videos that you're gonna see from me are going to be working on all of the commissions that I'm 2 months behind on. So stay tuned. If you liked this video though, do me a favor and subscribe to it. Like, subscribe to my channel. I do try and put videos out every week. I'm not always the best about that, and you know, I film on my phone, so they're not always the greatest quality, but I'm working on it. I got a tripod and I got a microphone now, so that helps. But yeah, I'm just trying to share, and if you like it, follow along. Like the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. If there's things that I can improve for these video recaps, let me know, because I do take all of that under advisement. Thank you so much for staying and watching this video. If you liked this, go watch my other market recaps. And if you didn't like this, okay, bye. But for real, If you liked this and you want to support this channel and have me keep going and doing things, leave comments and let me know good video ideas and what you'd like to see more of or ways that I can improve. Until next time, bye!